Let's look at our television example to learn about a new concept called this. This is a special pointer with the name this in order to access member data from within a method on the class. So here's our example. We have a television, a pointer to a television that we're dynamically allocating, and so that's grabbing space on the heap and then filling in the values based on the constructor. And then we can also make a call to set the channel to set that channel to 22. So here is our pattern, and we take that pattern and make room for everything we need to be stored based on our pattern. And so if we were to create another TV2, it would just create another spot with all that data to store. So I'm going to erase our UML to make a little more room. And let's look at how we would write the constructor. Well, the constructor will be in the television.cpp file. And we start out by scoping the constructor to the same name as the class. And then the constructor also has to be the same name as the class. And then we can pass in parameters. So we're going to pass in the manufacturer, which is a string. And we have to give it a name. And then we can put in a comma. And I'm running out of room, but white space doesn't matter, so we can just keep writing over here. And we're going to pass in an int for the size. And those are the two parameters that we're passing in. Now, because manufacturer and screen size were constants, we have to use an initialization list, and so we put a colon after the parameters. And then we can say the name that was defined in the class. Remember, manufacturer was in our UML. And then we can pass in the parameter name to initialize it. I'm running out of space here, so I'm just going to clear that out a little bit. It's still TV1 pointing here. So the first one, manufacturer, and then we can put a comma, and again white space doesn't matter. So then we're going to put our screen size in. And that's going to be initialized to the size. These two things are constants, so they have to be initialized. They can't be set later. The rest of the elements, the rest of the private data members were not constants, so we can just assign values. So we had a power on value, and we want to set that to false for initializing. We had a channel, and we wanted to set that to 2. And we had a volume, which was set to 20. Now, a common error is trying to declare this here. Once you put bool on here, that's saying give me a local variable named power on. Well, that's a variable that's going to be put on the stack, and it's going to be called power on. I think I'm running off the board here because the camera doesn't quite get to hold the board. So the power on is actually put on the stack because it's defined as a local variable. And we're not actually setting the one we wanted to set to false. We wanted to set the false that was from our cutout from our cookie cutter. We didn't want to create a brand new variable named power on. So you don't want to use the type in front of it because you want to use the one that is part of the television that you're working on. So we don't put the types in front of them. We use the ones that are already declared as part of our television. There's a special pointer called this that helps us with that. We can say this, power on, set to false. This means the power on for the class that's calling the constructor. Well, that's this one, this new one that we're creating. That power on that belongs to the class, this one that I'm working on, set to false. So you can use this parameter inside any of your class constructors, destructors, methods that are defined on the class. Everything that's scoped to television, if you use the this pointer, it means act upon whichever instance of the object that you're working on. And so this case, we're constructing TV1, and so the values get set in TV1. Okay, let's look at set channel. Set channel is scoped, and it's not a constructor, so it has to return a value. So let's return void. And we have our television, and we're going to define our set channel. Set channel takes one parameter, that's an int. I prefer if you write out channel, but I don't have a lot of room on my whiteboard. So what do we want to do in set channel? Well, we want to change the channel for an object instance that we've created. Well, we can refer to the one that we're calling it on, TV1. The one that we're calling it on is this. So we can say this channel is going to be set to that C that we passed in. And so it will say, okay, well, it's calling on TV1. TV1 is this object. So TV1, the channel, is going to be changed to 22 here. Inside this method, because it's scoped to television, the this is assumed. So the this is optional, but if you want to clarify that you're using a property from this television, you can add this pointer in order to clarify.